So hello. Now somebody asked me if I would show them some squares, and another person asked me if I had the DW5000 yet, and in the UK it hasn't been available on the website yet. Anyway, the DW5000, and I'll pop a picture of that into the video right now. That's the reason for all these squares. Now I suppose what I should do is, of course, there are two Casiotrons in this picture here, this one here and this one. And the reason that I've popped these in is because number one, they are so cool, and number two, they share the same functionality in the module as the GMWs. And I suppose, I don't know if I'm right, but the original Casiotron was really the precursor in terms of its technology for the DW5000 when eventually that came out. And so I suppose there is a sort of lineage between the Casiotron and the G-Shock squares. But in later life, because these are full metal, they sort of very nicely, I imagine, for a lot of the full metal square fans, these full metal Casiotrons speak to a lot of collectors that like the squares. And I keep having conversations with people about this Captain America and the Casiotron Captain America, because I think it's very fashionable. And of course, when it was released, they released it with the square Captain America. So having these two, I thought was really, really cool. Look at that. I thought that was really so cool. Because if you like the colorway, the way that they've put it into the Casiotron format and then the square format, I thought was really nice. Anyway, back to the squares, and if I put, I'll put this Captain America Tron, the C-Tron, back into here. And I suppose what I could do is, before we look at the, I've got Mr. Frog here. And I've just been looking at this watch and thinking to myself once again, it's so big and sort of garish, I suppose some people might say, but I really like it. And I've got an idea. I am going to, hopefully, I'm going to get the metal bracelet for this. And this model is not offered by Casio with the metal bracelet. What you can actually do is order the metal bracelet for is it the BF1000E version, which is the limited edition yellow version with the yellow rubber band here, but they also include a titanium bracelet. And there's a bit of detail. The locking clasp on the bracelet is in gold, and that gold actually matches the gold on the MRG there. When I first saw that bracelet, I didn't realize that, and then someone pointed it out to me. So it would mean that the bracelet for the yellow one would match this watch head perfectly. And so I've got some ideas there, and I've got a bit of a plan. So I should really put that in this shot there, shouldn't I? I'll leave it in. Okay, so let's go to these squares. So really the video is about these squares here, and I've got them almost in chronological order. And the G-Shock square fans out there are going to recognize these three straight away, because these were the first the first full metal squares that were released in 2018. Was it 2018? I'm sure it was. And that really, for me, regenerated my interest in digital watches, and in particular a Casio G-Shock. These three watches really pulled me into this interest zone, I suppose. And of course we've got the B5000D, we have the B5000 TFG and we have the B5000 TFC. Now these two were limited. The TFC here was in the porter case, and that created a lot of fuss and interest. In fact, these two are still two of my favourite full metal. Actually, I should say these three because they all came out at the same time, and I think it was probably one of the coolest, most interesting releases that Casio G-Shock have ever done. I just thought it was so cool. And the other ones on the table here, they were I suppose, the consequential releases of the fact that these three were released. And hopefully they're in roughly the same, the correct chronological order. Although I've got the two MRGs here, and I've got this B5000G here. So this one normally, well, when it was originally released, it had the rubber bracelet. Now I've still got the rubber bracelet, but I've actually put it on the B5000 GD metal bracelet because I thought that it was a really nice match. And of course I still have the rubber bracelet, but I have never actually, well, I have used it once, but I thought it looked so good on the metal bracelet. And because the colour match was perfect, it made me think I'm just going to keep it on the metal bracelet. And that's sort of another reason why I've been looking at the Frog recently, thinking I must get the titanium bracelet for this, and it's and it's probably because I am really more of a bracelet person. Although this rubber bracelet, the quality of it is superb, and I do like it, and it is very comfortable. But if I get the metal bracelet, the titanium bracelet for this, the colour match is perfect. And the way that the strap comes off is you press a little button here, and then you pull the pin out, and then pop in the titanium bracelet, and there you go. And I think, even though I really like this, especially when I'm driving, I think that on a metal bracelet is going to be one of my all-time favourite watches. And then I can put this bracelet back in its box, and I'll probably keep it there. But anyway, let's put that back there. So we have the original silver, gold, black squares that are definitely the coolest, I think, G-Shock release that's ever happened. I think these are, it has created so much interest, and it's created all the variants that Casio have actually created today. And I know there's a few here, but this is nothing compared to the number of releases that Casio have actually released. It must be 4 times the amount of watches that are here, all in full metal. Now, of course, I do apologise, I've got a cold. Of course, we've got the two MRGs here. In the hand, they do feel different to the full metal squares. So on camera, it probably, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they probably look that they are the same thing, but they are very different. So let's look at the silver one first. Like on the original full metal steel, that's really, you know, two-tone. You've got the silver, and then you've got the off silver and dark. The MRG does have the thin red line that adds that, for me, lovely bit of colour. But of course it does have the off-center logo and a bit of information there. For me, I like it, but some people don't like it. They perhaps like things more central. And of course, you know, it's more clear, it stands out more there. And of course the polishing and the brushed is a little different, although they are very similar. Now, of course, these watches, they look similar, but I can tell you that they are very different. The way that they look and feel, for example, this is titanium. So it's in the hand, it's much lighter, and also its ability to conduct heat is much less. So the watch feels warmer, or it actually takes less heat from your hand, so it feels different when you hold it. And of course it has the well, this has the black case back, but in a moment I'll show you the Darth Vader blue thin red line one here, because it has a gold case back and gold detailing, which is, I think it's very cool. But back to the this silver one, I think I've said on other videos, this is if I had to choose, this would be the one I'd go for, because it's so usable. It goes well with, because it's silver, with a shirt or a black t-shirt or a white t-shirt. It will just match anything. So this is why I suppose if I had to choose, I would choose this silver one. But when I got this, the black one was niggling me, and I thought this is going to create bank account destruction. Because when I looked at this again and I saw the DLC finishing of the case and bracelet, and then I saw the gold detailing, I was in a lot of trouble. And then I got to that case back and the matching lock button there, and I thought, you know, we're all over here. This is terrible. You know, I can't live without not having this one as well, because I think in the future it's going to be such a collectible, iconic a titanium MRG square because of this gold contrast colouring. I mean, look at that, it's so cool, isn't it? Every time I put this on, and we're talking years later, I think to myself, these watches are just so cool. And that's actually, it takes me on to another thing about what I was recently, actually, before I go there, let's get the cornflakes. Let me show you the cornflakes. This is the gold cornflake, and a lot of this was anticipated, and was causing a lot of interest to a lot of G-Shock collectors, because it being gold, it would match the gold with the negative display and the original TFC. But the cornflake is the bit that got people thinking, because of the peculiarity of its construction and manufacturing process. It does mean that the bracelet is actually going to, because of the manufacturing process, it would be coloured slightly different. There would be a colour variation. Now, on this example, the bracelet, the colouring of it is quite uniform. Well, the discolouring of it is quite uniform to the case. And for some reason, I really like that. But the thing that I think is most peculiar about the cornflake is its texture, how it feels. Because it's got this cement cornflake, it looks like a cornflake feeling, but it's actually, when you touch it with your hand, it's like a cement feeling. If you imagine what cement might feel like, it feels like cement. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good description, but it's very smooth, very, very smooth. And I suppose I'm saying it's like cement because you know, visually it has that cementy, stony feel. But it's very, very smooth. So I suppose really what we are describing is a recrystallized feeling, because the recrystallized is something very new, and it looks like Casio G-Shock were the first to do it. You know, it's created this very peculiar, strange finishing, and I really like it. I remember when I first looked at it, I thought, it's going to be cool. That has to be obtained at all cost. And of course, exactly the cement feeling and transfers onto the silver one. But with the silver one, Casio has put in the negative display, so it looks like this. And hopefully, it shined. One of the things that Casio have done with these updated movements and modules, the contrast of the displays is actually very, very good. I can see that very clearly now, and hopefully on camera you'll notice that as well. But so it's one of the things of this module that I really do like. And of course you've got the contrast of the silver there, with the silver push button part there. And of course you've got the cornflake back, the recrystallized back plate. So it's making, I think, that the visual interest and interest that goes into these cornflakes is brilliant. And I've got a feeling that these cornflakes are real sleepers. In the future, everybody is going to be wanting a cornflake in their collection, but I think they've all sold out now. They weren't as popular as people thought they might be, but I think they are going to be one of those very slow burns, and collectors are going to want these. If they don't have them today, Square G-Shock collectors will want these in the future, and these cornflakes are going to become, I think, very desirable, and I think on the grey market they're going to shoot up in value. The second you can't get them, these will go up in value. And also the Captain America square there, I think that is a very special piece. And so that takes me on to one of the other things, because for a moment I was thinking to myself, really I want to collect MRGs because because I thought to myself I do, and I don't know why anybody would, because the bank account damage is inevitable. Anyway, I thought to myself, I've got my eye on a couple of more MRGs, and I thought, do I need all these squares? And I was really bashing my head thinking, do I really need them? What I could do is I could keep the three original pieces there that are very popular still and very, I think, iconic. And I could perhaps think about selling the others. And then I thought, why on earth would I want to sell the others? I certainly wouldn't want to sell the MRGs. I'd have to keep those. And then I'd want to keep the cornflakes because they're very special. And then I'd want to keep the black one because it's cool. And I'd want to keep the Casiotrons because they are cool. And so I ended up realizing once again, I can't sell any of them, because why would I do such a silly thing? I've spent time building this really cool collection. Why on earth would I go and break all that investment and building a collection that I actually really do like, and I still want to wear all these watches? And that's one of the rules, I think, for collectors, is the moment that you don't wear a watch, you perhaps can sell it to make room in your collection for another watch. And that does make a lot of sense. But if I apply that rule to me, my goodness, the value is definitely in the collection. I think a lot of people will understand that. The value, it's the sum of all the parts of all the bits, all the different watches is where all the value is, really, not the single pieces. So even though the single pieces are, each one of them is a collectible, a very desirable piece to any collection. Just one of these watches would be great in any collection. And here we have 12 of them, and it's a collection that tells a story. It's a collection that brings a lot of, I suppose the correct word is happiness. And of course, it's the brother to the MRG pieces and these frogs. And I suppose that, once again, this is what watch collecting, being a watch enthusiast, does. When I first saw this watch, the digital version of the frog, I thought to myself, it's asymmetric, it's huge, it's got two frog eye buttons at the side, hence it's called a frog. What a ridiculous watch. That was my initial response to these Frogman watches. And then after a while, because I kept on looking at them, I started to see this Japanese uniqueness. I don't know what it was, but one day I woke up and thought, hold on, the asymmetric design is the coolest thing I've ever seen. It's so Japanese, it's so different. The Japanese just don't care about what people think. The Japanese culture, especially in wristwatches, is that they will simply have an idea. Well, the Japanese designers, and the managers, they will just like the idea of something, like it themselves, make it, and that's what they do. And then if people want to buy it, that's fine. But I don't think that they really respond to the market. I'm sure that they, like every watch company, I'm sure they do look at the watch market because, you know, they will perhaps want the information. But I don't think their decisions are based on what people are asking for. They really do have an idea themselves of what they like, and what comes with that is an idea of what people might like. As it turns out, exactly that process and that design process is something that appeals to a person like me. Hence, there's 1,000 watches on this table. Anyway, this is my quick recap of some full metal squares, and I've done it quickly because someone asked me to do it, and I really don't mind requests at all. And this guy was very nice, so I thought, hold on, I shall cut you a video as soon as I can. And because the lighting is very good, well, it's lighting that I like. I like natural lighting, so this is just the natural light coming through the window. And I thought it looked nice. Anyway, I apologise for my cold. And I apologise for my quick recap of these G-Shocks. And once again, I hope everybody is well, and we'll speak again very soon.